So I'm going to do another one of these videos where I show you me repairing and refurbishing one of the faulty consoles that I bought from eBay. And I thought I'd do this all in one video, so by the end of it you'll actually get to see how everything's turned out and if it went good or bad. So as you can see, I've picked up another faulty retro console here, and I've already received it. I've not opened it up yet, but I'll get to that in just a moment. But first I thought I'd show you the auction listing so that you basically know what I know at this point. So as you can see, it's a original Game Boy, and it comes with this magnifier thing here. So faulty original Nintendo Game Boy handheld console with light magnifier, and I paid £5.95 and £2.20 postage for that, so not too expensive. And I'll just show you the description here. So poor condition, screen cover held in place by sticky tape, batteries have leaked and corroded the battery terminals, so now not working at all, and sold as junk, sad face. And here's the pictures for it here. I think I can get this working without too much hassle. If you'll be able to see that too well through the camera, but it looks like the terminals have all corroded and looks kind of grubby and nasty looking, but hopefully that'll just clean up and it should work again. I'll come down here and show you the screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see that too well, but there's sellotape holding the screen cover in place, so again, I'll need to clean all that up and strip it down and get it refurbished, but got the package here, so I'll get to opening that up and see what we're dealing with. So I'll just get straight into opening this up and finding out what kind of condition it's in. Hopefully there's no nasty surprises or anything like that. Just open this up. Okay, so got another two packages inside the package. So I'm guessing one is the Game Boy and one is going to be the light magnifier, so I'll leave the magnifier till last. So this looks like the Game Boy here. And I can already feel there's a game in this, so that's a bonus. What have we got? Cool. It's Conker's, what was that, Pocket Tales? Never heard of that before. It looks like a game by, is it Rare? Alright, that looks cool. So a little bonus there already, wasn't expecting that. So still got the battery cover on this, and it doesn't look like it's in too bad a condition. You can see that. Bit grubby, but otherwise it's looking okay. You've got the tape on the top and the bottom there. So what I'll do is, well, I'll open up that other little package and see what's in there. Cool. So I'm guessing this takes batteries. Yep. 2 AA's on and off. Okay, that's in really nice condition as well. But that's not the main point I bought this for. So the main idea is to get this refurbished and repaired. So what I'm going to do is I'll throw some batteries into it and check to see if it's working or not. So just turn it on and nothing, we don't get anything, so obviously the battery terminals are corroded and they'll need cleaned up. You can see that there, that looks quite bad. Yep. So next I'm going to do is strip this down. I'll clean everything up, but I'll take a closer look at these terminals here and see what can be done about them. So I've got my tri-wing screwdriver and my ice cube tray here to keep my parts in. I'm just going to unscrew the back of this here. Okay, so the screws are out. Just pop this apart. There's a ribbon cable that holds the front and the back sections together. So you just need to be careful of that. I'll just unhook this gently. So there we go, it's in 2 sections now. So I'm more interested in the back section here, because this is where the damage is most likely occurred from the battery leakage. So there's a couple more screws holding this in place, and I'll just take those out next and get a closer look. So it's something I should have probably tested before I started taking the whole thing apart, was whether or not it works with the external power adapter, and basically just bypassing the battery compartment and battery terminals altogether and plugging it directly into the wall. So I've hooked up one of my adapters here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this too well, but the housing on the power socket here on the motherboard is actually all cracked open. It looks like someone's maybe ripped out the power adapter at some point and it's cracked that all open, so that's definitely going to need replaced. So that's one thing I'll need to add to the repair list. So I'll fire this up and maybe it will work, maybe it won't. The connection wasn't too good when I checked it a minute ago. As you can see, it's coming up with Nintendo and the sound is working. So that's good, but you'll maybe notice that there's lines or sections of the screen missing down either side, so that's another problem I'm going to need to address a little later on. But yeah, so far we know that the power adapter or the power socket here is bad, the battery terminals are bad, and the screen is going to need some attention as well. So I'll just keep stripping this down to its component parts, clean everything up, and then I'll address those problems a little later. Now that I've got the console completely stripped down to its component parts, I'll need to give everything a really good clean. So you can see with parts like the directional pad here, it's really filthy and covered in grime, and it's the same for these rubber contacts as well. You can see all the dirt and the dust that's built up over the years, and they're generally pretty disgusting. So these will all need a good clean, and what I'm going to do is just take all the plastic parts here and throw them into the sink with some hot soapy water, get an old toothbrush and just scrub everything up, just get rid of all the grime and the dirt that's built up over the years. So once I've done that, I'll dry them all off and then I'll start working on repairing that screen. So it's underneath this strip of rubber here that I need to reconnect the contacts to the screen, and the screen's actually connected up to the main board here through this ribbon cable. You can see where it's soldered onto the board along here. And the reason the screen's not showing a complete image is because the contact between this ribbon cable and the screen itself isn't good. So what I need to do is carefully lift up this rubber strip here and then try and reconnect the ribbon cable to the screen. There's a couple of different methods you can use to do this. You can use a heat gun, you can use a soldering iron, or if you don't have either of those, you can actually just apply more pressure along this strip here until you reconnect all the little contact pins. But the method I'm going to be using is the soldering iron method, and I'll just run the soldering iron along the ribbon cable here until I'm happy that all the contact points have reconnected. So that's what I'm going to do next. So hopefully this will show up in camera okay, but just to give you a better idea of what I was talking about there, if I apply a little bit of pressure to the ribbon cable here, you can see the lines in the screen start to reappear. Like that, if I move back and forth. And it's the same on the other side here as well. So I just move the tool across the ribbon cable there, they'll start to reappear. So yeah, all I'm going to do is get the soldering iron and quickly run it across those contact points there, and hopefully they should stay reconnected. Actually, I don't need to put any pressure on the ribbon cable at all. I've just found if I hold the soldering iron just above the cable, it'll actually start to heat it up enough to reconnect those points without any actual pressure. So there we go. That looks like I've got all the contacts now reconnected. You can see I've got a nice full screen there, so you can maybe see that a bit better. I've got a couple of lines reappearing here, so I'll just quickly go over that again until I'm happy that it's fully repaired. So I'm happy enough that the screen's now repaired, and I've cleaned up all the components, all the buttons and everything, along with the outer housing, so they really just need to get reassembled. But I'm still left with the problem of this rear board here and the dodgy power jack there. And ideally what I should do is desolder this and solder in a new part, but I'm going to cheat a little bit, and this is kind of where it helps to have a parts bin filled with old consoles and junk, basically. So what I've got here are a couple of old Game Boys. These are way beyond economical repair. They're missing quite a few parts and the screens are completely dead on them. So what I'm going to do is I've actually found one that's got a good rear board on it, and instead of desoldering the part from this and soldering onto this one here, I'm just going to straight up take this board out of here and install it into this console that I'm refurbishing. It's just going to save me a lot of time and a lot of hassle of desoldering and resoldering parts. So I know it's a bit of a cheat, but that's actually how I repair a lot of my faulty consoles. I've got a bin full of old junk and old consoles, and I just take parts as and when I need them. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to reassemble everything along with this board here. So everything's back together again, and I'm really happy with the way it all turned out. I think it looks in great condition, and I just kept the original screen. It wasn't too badly scratched up or anything, and I think it looks pretty good. So I'll show you the battery compartment here. There's no more horrible residue in there. It's nice and clean, and it's the same with all the controls and the buttons and everything around the console. All nice and clean and minty fresh. So I suppose the last thing to do is pop some batteries into it and check that it all still works. So I'll get to do that now. I'll just pop in my copy of Wario Blast. Let's check it out. And there we go. Sound, and everything's working as it should. That's cool. So the main purpose of this video wasn't really to be a tutorial or anything, but more just to give an idea of what you can expect to find if you're thinking about buying a faulty console from eBay to repair. And with this one, it actually turned out to be in a lot worse condition than I originally expected, but it all turned out okay in the end, and I've got a nice clean working Game Boy out of it. I got a couple of extras as well. Unfortunately the Conker's game here doesn't work. It's got a faulty mask ROM on it, I think. It's nothing to do with dirty contacts or anything like that, but that's okay because I've actually got a future project in the works where I'll get to use this anyway, so not too bothered about that. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting to watch, and some tips or useful information from it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.